Hi, I'm Richard Atkinson.
This video will analyze the magnificent counterpoint in the finale of Mozart's Jupiter Symphony, number 41 in C major, K551. The movement has been celebrated for more than 200 years as one of the quintessential examples of craftsmanship in Western music. In this analysis, I will discuss its many incredible contrapuntal passages, culminating in the Coda, during which 5 of the previously introduced themes are combined at once, in 5-part invertible counterpoint. The sonata form movement begins with a simple homophonic statement of theme number 1, which consists of 4 whole notes. It will be highlighted in red for the remainder of the movement. It is answered by a frequently recurring rhythmic motif that I will highlight in gray, since it does not play a role in any of the future contrapuntal passages. Theme number 2 immediately follows this and consists of a dotted figure followed by a descending configuration of eighth notes. It will be highlighted in green. The first significantly contrapuntal passage occurs now, when theme number 1, or at least the first 3 notes of it, enters as the subject of a fugal passage, with this short underlined figure acting as the counter-subject. After this forceful statement of theme number 1, theme number 3, highlighted in blue, consisting of 3 staccato notes followed by a trilled dotted figure, makes its first appearance as a stretto between the first violins and the cellos and basses. Stretto is the fugal term for when the entries of the subject are squeezed together, such that the second enters before the first is finished. Although it does not strictly apply to anything in this movement, I will use it to describe moments when the themes enter in such close succession. The stretto involving theme number 3 begins the modulation to the dominant key, and is immediately followed by a stretto involving theme number 2. In this case, the second entry occurs only 1 beat after the first, with a third abbreviated entry in the horns of just the dotted rhythm, giving the appearance of 3-part imitation. With the dominant key of G major now firmly established, this is the moment in a normal sonata movement when old or new thematic material would enter in the new key. In this movement, it consists of a 4th theme played by the first violins, highlighted in orange, a 5th theme played by the oboes, highlighted in yellow, the previously mentioned 3rd theme played by the bassoons, and the previously mentioned 2nd theme played by the flute. This is followed by another stretto of theme number 3 between the flute and bassoon, and then by an incredible stretto of the newly introduced theme number 4. The stretto involving theme number 4 begins with imitation of just its first 3 notes, with entries separated by the space of 1 measure. Subsequently, the entirety of theme number 4 is played in a remarkable 4-part stretto, with each entry separated by the space of only 1 beat. orchestra now plays fragments of theme number 4. This is followed by a passage featuring the recurring motif that was highlighted in gray, and another 3-part stretto including variants of theme number 2, including the original theme played by the violas and cellos, a syncopated version in the flutes and oboes, and a non-literal inversion of the theme played by the violins. An inversion is the horizontal reflection of the original music. In this case, the overarching direction of the theme is inverted, but it is not a literal inversion, which actually does occur later in the development section. The exposition ends with 2 final statements of theme number 2, first from the solo oboe, and then from the solo bassoon. The development section of a sonata form movement typically explores distant keys while subjecting the material from the exposition to further development, often by treating it more contrapuntally. In this movement, Mozart has already treated the material in an extremely contrapuntal manner, so the development section is relatively short. It begins with a statement of theme number 1, answered by theme number 2, followed by theme number 1 in a new key, answered by the literal inversion of theme number 2. This is followed by a 4-part stretto of variously truncated versions of theme number 2, and then by alternating statements of a rhythmic variation of theme number 1 in the winds, and strettos involving theme number 2 and its inversion. The development section ends with statements of theme number 2 and its inversion, followed by a wonderfully elegant modulation back to C major, using entries of the dotted beginning of theme number 2 in the first bassoon, second bassoon, horns, and finally the entire theme in the first violin. As we've just heard, the recapitulation section begins with theme number 1, followed by the recurring gray highlighted motif, much like in the exposition. Suddenly, the violins enter with modulating statements of theme number 1 in C, D, and E. At this point, theme number 1 has its first stretto between the first and second violins, modulating back to D, then back to C. listen to the remainder of the recapitulation section, which is similar to the analogous sections in the exposition. We've finally arrived at the famous Coda, which continues with a stretto of the almost literal inversion of theme number 1, between the high and low strings. This stretto is almost M.C. Escher-like in its configuration, since lining up the inversions of theme number 1 in this manner creates additional instances of the non-inverted theme. This leads to the crowning moment of the symphony, an incredibly complex passage that features 5-part invertible counterpoint. Invertible counterpoint occurs when contrapuntal lines are interchangeable among instruments of different registers. This passage begins with a simultaneous statement of theme number 4 by the violas and theme number 1 by the bassoons, horns, and cellos. With each successive repetition, a new theme appears. First theme number 3 is added, then theme number 5, and finally theme number 2. Now, all 5 themes are played together interchangeably among the different parts. The symphony ends with statements of the recurring gray highlighted motif and theme number 2, in a majestic conclusion of one of the most magnificent movements in the symphonic literature.